Today I'm sharing 13 little things that help keep me on track with my GLP-1 weight loss journey. I've lost over 25 pounds on a GLP-1 and I've had to fight for every ounce. Right now things are even harder. My dose isn't going up for another 2 weeks and the food noise has definitely come back. So am I still losing weight? You'll find out when I report this week's weigh-in. So let's get into my update and the 13 little things that have made a big difference. Oh, and I've got a free vitamin and mineral chart for you to download to help you keep your nutrition on track. Okay, let's go. Weigh-in update. If you're new here, to catch you up real quick, I'm on week 40. I'm taking 5 milligrams of Zepbound. I started out at 210.1 pounds. The last time I weighed in, which was 2 weeks ago because I spaced last week, I was at 285.1 pounds, which is exactly 25 pounds. And today I weighed in at 184.3, so I'm down 0.8 pounds since 2 weeks ago. This is pretty much par for the course. I've averaged 2/3 of a pound lost per week. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It's going down slowly over time. That's just the way my body has been reacting. I am at this point really looking forward to my dose increase. I'll move up from 5 milligrams to 7.5 milligrams on Zepbound in 2 weeks. And the food noise has crept back in since about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I thought about going up immediately, but it meant that I would have had a month of 5 milligram medication that I didn't use. I guess I could have used it up quickly and just upped my dose. I didn't think of that. Anyway, I just decided to see how will things go if I stay at 5, and if it was really hard, I would have gone up earlier. It's been hard, but it hasn't been really hard. It's interesting to have the food noise back. I'll find myself looking in the pantry and then being like, whoa, I haven't done this in forever. Just looked in the pantry for no particular reason. And then I check in and it's like, well, am I hungry? And most of the time I'm not. It's just these old habits. And so I would say most of the time I'm able to modify my behavior and, notice it and not eat. But sometimes I've been munching more. I'm still managing to lose weight at pretty much the same pace, which is interesting. But the difference is the mindset. I'm working a lot harder at trying not to think about food or trying not to eat just because I'm thinking about food. So yeah, it's labor intensive. I'm really looking forward to a break. But I'm also proud of myself that the food noise hasn't meant that how I'm living my daily life looks very different. I guess now that I'm saying that out loud, that kind of makes sense, because until 9 months ago, the food noise was my constant companion. So I was kind of used to dealing with it. And until menopause, I was able to stay at a relatively normal weight. And after menopause, my eating habits didn't change, but I could not stay at a normal weight. Like, my weight kept creeping up and up. So I think I've just sort of defaulted back to whatever it was I was doing before when I had all the food noise that helped me to, not overeat, being plagued by this constant barrage of thoughts about food. And yeah, I miss the quiet. I'm really looking forward. Now that I think about it, I might not wait 2 weeks. Now that I hear myself saying this, I'm like, why am I going to suffer for 2 weeks? Yeah, I think I might bump up sooner. Yeah, thanks for listening. I just worked through this. Now I'm going to go through the 13 little things I've identified that have just really helped me on this journey. And it's interesting, you'll notice that they aren't things that have helped me lose weight. It's been these pretty random little things that help me stay consistent and losing weight over the long run in a healthy, sustainable way. When I first started a GLP-1 9 months ago, I was counting 2 things, my protein and my fiber. And that's pretty much still what I track. I realize that I do better when I track, and when I think like, oh, I got this, I don't need to track, I don't eat enough. It's a weird problem to have. Basically, I knew that I couldn't rely on my appetite. I had to intentionally plan to get enough protein. I firmly believe that whole foods are the best source of all nutrients, including protein. And so I eat a lot of tofu, beans and whole grains, chicken and turkey, and fish, and Greek yogurt. I'm not a huge fan of eggs, but I'll have eggs sometimes. A little bit of cheese. But yeah, those are my protein sources. What I found eventually, because of the decreased appetite, is that I could eat 3 meals a day, but I did need to supplement to get enough protein. So that's where the first little thing comes in, protein powder. I'm gonna sound like a broken record saying whole foods are always best. Yet there are things that I eat to help me supplement. And one of the things is finding a protein powder that I really like. My stepdaughter told me about this when she was in college. We were visiting her, we took her to Target to go shopping, because that's what you do when you visit your kids in college. And this is one of the things she wanted to get. I had never heard of it, and I was always on the lookout for a protein powder I like, because so many of them have a weird texture or a weird flavor. And she said she really liked that one, so I tried it. She's in her 30s now, and I still use this protein powder. It's my favorite one that I've ever found. So yeah, I just stick with it because I like it. And if I am making a morning smoothie, it gets most of its protein from Greek yogurt. But if I put 1 scoop of this, it gives me 9 extra grams. If I put 2 scoops in, I get 18 extra grams of protein. So it's a really big boost without filling me up more. And that has been really helpful for me to get enough protein. I know that taste is subjective. So if you have a favorite protein powder, protein drink, protein bar that helps you supplement your protein, drop it in the comments, because what I like isn't going to be to everyone's taste, and we learn a lot from each other. I've learned a lot from you guys in my comment section. Number 2 is also a little thing that helps me get enough protein, and that's having protein coffee in the morning. If you've watched other episodes of mine, you've seen me mention this before. It's a protein shake. ON, it stands for only what you need. It's plant-based. This container has 32 grams of protein. They also sell a version that has 20 grams of protein in it, which I haven't tried, but I like the taste of this, so I'm guessing I'd like the taste of that one too. And I mix this with my coffee every morning, and I start out with 32 grams of protein. It's a processed food. This does not occur in nature. I feel like it's not as bad as it could be. You know, it's not Cheetos or Twinkies. This is another way that I just make sure I'm getting my protein even when I'm not that hungry. And the third little thing is protein bars. Now this is my favorite. It's Bearbell brand. You might have heard of it. You might have heard me talk about it before. I really like them. This is my favorite flavor, caramel choco. They have other really good flavors too. And there are other protein bars I also like, but I just like this one the best. Now, I don't eat these every day. I do have a protein coffee probably like 5 days a week. There are just some days that, you know, I don't have it for whatever reason. And this, I probably have a smoothie. Well, I go through phases. I'll go through a phase where I'll have like a smoothie every day for a couple weeks. I just went through one of those recently. And then I'm like, I want something different for breakfast. And so right now I think I'm having maybe 2 or 3 smoothies a week, which means I'm eating this 2 or 3 times a week. This I usually eat after I strength train. So that means 2 to 4 times a week. It's just an easy way to get 16 grams of protein and like a little snack that tastes like a treat. A track. It's been different eating to get enough nutrition versus trying not to eat too much. So I'm not always eating to satisfy my hunger. A lot of times I'm eating to support my metabolism and to support my muscle and just to support my health. So those are 3 simple ways that I make sure I get enough protein. But again, I want to emphasize that most of my protein I get from whole foods. By the way, I've got a protein smoothie recipe that you can get if you sign up to my email newsletter, and it uses this protein powder and Greek yogurt and a bunch of other stuff to make a tasty smoothie that I've been making for years. And if you're interested in it, sign up to my email newsletter below. If you're new here, hi, I'm Bobby. I'm a therapist and an artist, and I'm sharing my GLP-1 weight loss journey here on YouTube. I am not a medical doctor, and I'm not your therapist. I am just sharing my experience here on YouTube. None of this is medical advice or mental health advice. Always talk to your own healthcare providers when you're deciding what to do for you. Then besides appetite decreasing, a lot of times thirst decreases on GLP-1s. And I feel really lucky because I was in a good habit of drinking water before I started GLP-1s. So I could just kind of keep up that habit because I do think my thirst decreased. I realized I was cued to drink because my water bottle was around. Whereas I remember like feeling thirsty in the past and I don't really get that anymore. But I was in the habit of drinking, so I just keep drinking. And that brings me to number 4 on the list, my Hydro Flask bottle. If you have watched other episodes, I drink from this, I feel like almost every time I'm filming, because it is just with me at home. It's not, spill proof. And so this is the one I use when I'm at home. I film at home 99% of the time. And so I'm drinking out of this. Yeah, it's 40 ounces. I shoot for about 80 ounces a day of water. When I am on the road or in my car, or I just want something that isn't going to spill as much, I've become a big fan of number 5 on the list, my ALOHA water bottle. And the reason why I like this sometimes is because when it's all sealed up, it's not going to leak at all. You can chug from it, like that, but there's also a straw in it, so you can sip from it. So yeah, really nice. Insulated, Hydro Flask also insulated. So these 2 things just really help me stay hydrated. I need the visual cue because I'm not as thirsty. This one today had my protein coffee in it because I did like an iced coffee with my protein shake in it. And then this one has water in it. I know there are lots of different brands of water containers. And this one I got because it was at Costco, so it was a good price. And this one I got because these come in like a gajillion colors. So it was really fun to pick out a fun color combination. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but this is like a really pale, like minty green. I just love it. But there are other brands too. So if you're really loyal to a particular brand of water bottle, tell me why in the comments, because I'm curious about other brands. I know I'm getting more than 80 ounces of water a day because remember that foods that have water in them count towards your hydration. It's like fruit and soup and things like that. And then anything else I'm drinking, like, a can of seltzer water or something like that. So I know that I'm getting more than 80 ounces, but I do shoot for 80 ounces of water. One of the 40 ounces I put number 6 on the list, which is electrolytes. My brand of choice is LMNT, and I checked on my purchase history on their website, and I've been buying LMNT since 2021. So for 4 years, I've been buying LMNT. And yeah, I just really like it. I started drinking electrolytes back then because I was eating super low carb at the time, and that kind of increases your need for electrolytes. But yeah, I just put a packet in one of my things of water every day, and then the other one is plain water, but I do often add just a little lemon juice just to give it some flavor, so that when I have that visual cue of the water sitting over here, I see it and I'm like, ooh, lemon water. So yeah, that is how I stay hydrated. And those 3 things really help. Totally worthwhile investments. I'm gonna link to everything in the description below. So if there's anything that you want more information about or that you want to purchase, there'll be links in the description to the products themselves. Or maybe, you know what? I might just make a storefront for this episode so you can just click on that link and see all the products in the storefront. I think that might be easier. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. There's so many important reasons to stay hydrated, and one of them is to keep your GI tract hydrated because, as you may know, when you're on a GLP-1, your digestion moves more slowly, and one of the simplest ways to avoid side effects and to keep your gut healthy is to stay hydrated. The other way is to eat enough fiber. Even if you're eating really healthy, you can have all kinds of GI discomfort from GLP-1s because your digestion is moving slower, and you can have constipation or diarrhea because they're just very common side effects with these medications. The recommended amount of fiber per day for women is 25 to 35 grams. And I know there are so many people out there, it's really popular to take like fiber gummies and fiber supplements to hit that 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. And I don't want to rain on anyone's parade because we all have to do what works for us. But I am of the opinion that hitting 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day is not that hard most of the time. If you're eating a lot of whole foods, it's honestly not that much fiber. It's not even that much food. I go into this in depth in an episode that I'll link to below. There's a special chapter all about fiber. It's like a deep dive. So if you want to know more about it, I'll put the title of the episode up here because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, there's like a whole lesson about fiber. Most days I get all of my fiber from foods. And one of the ways I do that is to make sure to eat certain foods really often. And one of them is number 7 on this list, chia seeds. 1 tablespoon of chia seeds has 3 grams of fiber in it. You put a couple tablespoons of these in chia seed pudding and you're hitting 6 grams of fiber, which is, almost a quarter of your daily fiber. Mix them with yogurt or milk for a pudding with fruit. Yeah, they're really good for you and I have relied on them. I don't think I eat them every day, but I rely on them at least 3 or 4 times a week. I'm either throwing them in a smoothie, making a pudding, or just like sprinkling them and stuff for a fiber boost. They have a couple grams of protein, 2 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber per tablespoon. I'm a fan. The other thing that almost made the list was beans, because beans are really high in fiber. But I wanted to choose one, and I don't know, I just have a soft spot for chia seeds. There's one exception to when I will supplement for fiber, and that's if I'm having a really low food day. Maybe I skipped a meal, maybe I'm not feeling great. It doesn't happen often, but a couple times a month for the last, few months, I will use psyllium husk, which, I don't have it here with me. I just buy it ground up in a powder. 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk has 6 or 7 grams of fiber in it. So it's a very easy way to boost your fiber if you're a little low. And so that's what I'll do is I will just dump that in my soup, in my pasta, in my yogurt. It will thicken things. And so I don't put it in tea because it would make the tea kind of gelatinous. Unless you drink it really fast, but I want to enjoy a cup of tea. So put it in things where if it thickened up a little bit, you don't really notice, like yogurt and soup, things like that. And it's just a way to get a little bump of fiber. So I just keep it in my pantry as a little bit of insurance. But like I said, I rely on whole foods for my fiber, beans, whole grains, chia seeds, really anything plant-based, especially fruits. Raspberries are crazy high in fiber. So I've kind of alluded to staying hydrated and getting enough fiber as a way to keep your GI tract happy. And one of the things that happens often with GLP-1s is constipation. Even with the best of habits, just a lot of us get constipated. When I was on semaglutide the first few months of my GLP-1 weight loss journey, I had a lot of constipation and I had to do certain things every day to make sure I wasn't constipated. Take Miralax, take a magnesium supplement, eat prunes, and then fiber and water. When I switched to tirzepatide, constipation was not a side effect for me, so I didn't have to do those things every day. But what I've noticed with tirzepatide is that it's made me more vulnerable to constipation. Like a lot of times I would get constipated from flying because it's just so dehydrating. This is like even before GLP-1s. And the longer the flight, the more likely I was to get constipated. Now, if I fly even for a short flight, I'll get constipated for a day or two. So I think my body's just more vulnerable to it because of this medication. Fortunately, the bright side of figuring out how to deal with it when I was on semaglutide has meant that I'm able to get on top of it quicker. And there are 2 things that help me get on top of it quicker now. The first is number 9 on the list, which is Mag07. This is a specific type of magnesium supplement that works for me. I know people who've tried it and it didn't work for them. And then there are other magnesium supplements that haven't worked for me and that work for other people. So I actually link to a few different ones that I know people have had results with, but this is what worked for me. And on semaglutide, I was taking 1 to 3 of these every night just to poop like a normal person. And now I don't think I've taken these except after I've flown. A couple weeks ago, I went to visit my daughter. It was 2 short flights to get to her because there's no direct flight. And that was enough. The couple days after that, I was constipated, but I had packed some of this. So this has just been super helpful for me in dealing with constipation. The other thing that I took daily on semaglutide and that now I pack with me on trips for constipation is number 10 on this list, which is Miralax. Now I bought the generic kind because that's the kind of girl I am. I obviously don't pack this big bottle. I put a little bit in a baggie and then I hope that TSA doesn't think that it's drugs. So far, they haven't. But I just want to have a little bit of Miralax on hand because I know that that will help me after the flight. It also was my daily friend when I was really struggling with that side effect on semaglutide. My doctor recommended that I take this daily. Talk to your own doctor about dealing with side effects. Before you take anything, talk to your doctor. If you're enjoying this episode, I would be really appreciative if you'd hit like. and think about subscribing to my channel. I'd love to have you join me on this journey. The YouTube algorithm is weird, but when you get likes, it helps YouTube learn who wants to see this. So people who want this kind of content are more likely to find it or have it shown to them. So yeah, just that one little click can help my channel and help other people. I have a whole episode on side effects that I will also link to in the description. And the comments are really helpful too, because people were posting about things that helped them with their side effects that I hadn't known about or tried. So you can get so many ideas if you're struggling with side effects by what worked for me in the episode and what worked for other people in the comments. So the Mag07 and the Miralax are my go-tos now if I have any constipation. And then also I just want to add as a reminder that the water and the fiber are just also really important. Those are a given that I'm always striving to get enough fiber and water. And then if I have some constipation, I've got my go-tos. Because it's easy to eat too little on GLP-1s, it can be hard to get enough nutrition. We want to be in a calorie deficit if we're trying to lose weight, but we don't want to be in a nutritional deficit. And it's possible, but it's more work to get enough nutrition if you're eating in a calorie deficit. I've been trying really hard to get enough nutrition. I know one thing that happens with lack of nutrition over time is loss of hair. So I keep pulling my hair back and trying to see if my ponytail is as thick as it used to be. And I think it is, but then I start to second guess and be like, is it thinner? Or I'll put up a messy bun and be like, is it smaller? And I think it's the same, or I'm paranoid. I don't know which one. But I just do know after 9 months of being in a calorie deficit, there might be nutritional deficiencies that have developed. So the last 3 things on my list are the 3 little things that I feel like are really helping me to combat the nutritional deficiencies. Because big picture, I'm trying to get 1,700 calories a day, which my dietitian determined was a good weight loss calorie goal, and enough protein and enough fiber. But look for a second at the difference between a low nutrition, enough protein and fiber, and a high nutrition, enough protein and fiber. There is a really big difference between these 2 meals. Even though if you're only looking at, oh, I hit my calorie, my protein, and my fiber goal, you think, oh, you're golden either way. But what's missing in the meal on the left is all kinds of micronutrients, vitamins, minerals that our body really needs. And those are the things that if we get deficient in them, our body's going to direct what nutrition it does have towards our vital functions. And it will neglect things like our fingernails, our hair, our energy levels. We'll feel tired. So here's what I'm doing to try my best to not become malnourished while being on such a long-term calorie deficit. I got into such a deep dive when I was preparing this part of this episode that I ended up making a vitamin and mineral chart that you can download below. You don't have to sign up with your email or anything, just click on the link and you can download it. You can print it out if you want. It's 2 pages. I do not want to track every single one of these nutrients, even though it's important that we get them all. If you read over the sources of these vitamins and minerals, which I divided into animal-based, plant-based, leafy green vegetables and dark green vegetables in general are in not every single category, but so many of them that I feel like eating my dark leafy green vegetables every day is doing so much to cover my bases. Number 11 is dark leafy greens. I put kale up here as a visual, but I'm talking about chard, spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Broccoli's not leafy, but all these dark green vegetables are powerhouses. I just did this the other day, and this has been a really good reminder of just what powerhouses the dark green leafy vegetables are. If you are on a GLP-1 and you're in a long-term calorie deficit and you don't want to become malnourished, work green vegetables into your diet every single day. Throw some spinach in your morning smoothie. Throw some kale into your salad. Make sure to tear it up and massage it. Yes, massage your kale with a little bit of olive oil and salt, and it makes it easier to eat. And then just throw it in, like you don't have to have a whole kale salad. I like to mix half kale, half romaine lettuce. Throw a whole head of chard or bok choy into a pan and saute it, and you will eat a ton of green vegetables as a side dish at your dinner. Greens are easy to eat. Buy it frozen. You can buy all these vegetables frozen, and the nutrition is there. Having said that, my doctor recommended that I take a multivitamin while I'm on a GLP-1. I've kind of taken them on and off even before that, and I think I had multivitamins at home and I just wasn't that good about taking them. I did start taking them more regularly when I started this medication because I knew I wouldn't be eating as much. And this is the one that I take. It's not because my doctor recommended. She just told me just take any multivitamin, like it doesn't really matter. I take this one because they're gummies and they taste good. So if there are things that I'm not getting in my diet, it's gonna help fill in those gaps. Full disclosure, I forget probably 2 or 3 times a week to take this. So I'm not even taking it every day. But still, like if I'm taking it 4 or 5 times a week, I feel like that's gonna fill in gaps. So fingers crossed. One more thing my doctor recommended. She recommended what I'm putting 13 on my list, which is vitamin D. I did not test deficient for vitamin D, but I was on the low end. I don't get a lot of sun. I tend to wear sunscreen when I'm outside. And I don't drink dairy products that are fortified with vitamin D. So I take vitamin D. This is Target brand. Yeah. Again, my doctor said it doesn't matter. She recommended I take 2,000. Talk to your doctor, see what your doctor thinks. I know people who are deficient usually take a lot more than that, but this is just something to prevent me from becoming deficient in vitamin D. Those are my 13 things. My goal being on Zepbound isn't just weight loss, it's fat loss and it's improved health. So all of these 13 things aren't really helping me to lose weight faster, they're helping me to lose weight healthier. And that's how I want to do it. I mentioned many times in this episode how I focus on eating whole foods. For a look at my meal prep that really helps me keep healthy food on hand, watch this video next. Thanks for watching.